Chair guests, dear participants, very warm welcome to all of you as we are the valedictory session of the 1 week national review basically. E-workshop on enhancing research paper writing skills organized by the Indian Research Scholar Association. So over the past week we have witnessed an increased of learning to so basically we are very resident guests with us for the valedictory session. So at this moment, I'd like to call Mr. Vikas, President Research Scholar Association, our esteemed chief guest of honor.
Okay, okay, thank you so much.
Professor Shubha Tiwari, namaskar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Namaskar. Namaskar.
Okay, so thank you so much,
Okay,
Dr. Hemant ji,
Sho ji, for giving me
opportunity. So today we
this
have
opportunity.
with us very distinguished.
So today we have with us very
I would
distinguished
like to welcome on
guests.
behalf of and on
So I would like to welcome on behalf of me and Research Scholars Association
all the distinguished guests uh, who have accepted our invitation.
who have accepted
And
our
join
invitation
workshop. So
and
this
join this
series,
workshop.
first
So
I would
in
like to
this
welcome.
series, first I would like to welcome.
My voice is coming, Hemant Bhaiya.
My voice is coming, Hemant Bhaiya.
Yes, your voice is coming. Please proceed.
Okay, so thank you. So in this series, first of all, I would like to
Okay, so
welcome
thank you. So in this series,
to
first of
Professor
all, I would like to welcome
Ma'am,
to
Honorable Vice Chancellor Chhatrashal
to
Bundelkhand University Chhatarpur.
Professor
Madam, your
Madam, you're most welcome.
today you
Today
have
you
joined
have
this valedictory session.
join
And
this
in this
valedictory session.
series, I
And
would like
in
to
this
welcome
series, I would
our
like to
respected
welcome
Professor
to
Piyush
our
Ranjan sir.
respected Professor
And
Piyush Ranjan sir.
sir, I'm
And
so much happy you have
sir, I'm so
joined
much
this session
happy
and you
you
have
have
accepted our
joined this
invitation.
session and you have
So on the
accepted
behalf
our
of
invitation.
IRSA and
So
on
on the
behalf
behalf of IRSA and
I
on
would
behalf
like
of
to
me,
welcome to Professor
I would
Piyush
like to
Ranjan
welcome
sir.
to Professor Piyush
I would like
Ranjan
to
sir.
welcome to Professor Sujit Bhattacharya sir.
I would like to
Sir is
welcome
a
Sir is a chief
editor,
editor, Scientometric Journal,
distinguished
and a distinguished
academician on the field of the economics
academician on the
and
field of the
social science
economics
subject.
and
So,
in the social science subject.
Professor,
So,
I would like to welcome
Professor,
Professor
I would
Sujit
like to welcome to
Bhattacharya sir.
Professor Sujit
I would like
Bhattacharya
to
sir.
welcome to
I would
Professor
like to
Sirin
welcome to
Moswe madam,
Professor Sirin
co-editor
Moswe
of
madam,
Pupil
co-editor of
History
Pupil
Journal, Sage
History Journal,
Publication, and
Sage
former
Publication,
chairperson of the
and
History
former chairperson of the
Aligarh Muslim
History
University. So
Aligarh Muslim
I
University.
would like to welcome
So
Professor Mosavi
I would
madam.
like
I
to
would like
welcome
to
to Professor
welcome
Mosabi madam. I would
all the
like to
executive committee
welcome
members
the all
and
executive committee members
participants
and
who
the
have
all
joined the various
participants
parts of
who
India.
have
So in
joined
this
the
regard,
various parts of the
जो आज की
India. So in
अध्यक्षता
this
कर रहे हैं
regard,
ऑनरेबल
जो आज की
पीयूष रंजन
अध्यक्षता
सर,
कर रहे हैं ऑनरेबल पीयूष रंजन
उनको
सर,
मैं ये बात अवगत कराना चाहता हूँ कि सर
उनके
इन दिस वर्कशॉप वी
उनको
हैव
मैं ये बात अवगत
रिसीव्ड
कराना चाहता हूँ कि सर इन दिस वर्कशॉप वी हैव
180
रिसीव्ड
registration various parts of India,
180 registration
but
various parts
we
of the
have
India, but
selected only
we
100
have
participants और इसमें हमने
selected
different
only
countries का participation देखा है.
100
Some
participants
scholars we have
और
selected from the
इसमें हमने
northeast,
some
two
scholars
from
we have selected
Nagaland,
from the
from the
northeast, two from the Nagaland, two from the
selected in
Manipur, and we have also
15 to 20
selected
participants
in
from the
this
South
workshop
India, and in this
almost
workshop, sir,
15 to
Punjab,
20
Gujarat,
participants
or even
from the South Gujarat, or even
participants को we have selected from the
दो
Jammu and Kashmir. तो
participants
इस तरह से हमने पूरे इसमें इंडिया का रिप्रेजेंटेशन
को
किया
we
है.
have selected
तो
from the
ओनली हमने यहाँ पे 100
जम्मू एंड कश्मीर. तो इस तरह से हमने पूरे इसमें इंडिया का रिप्रेजेंटेशन लिया है.
आई होप दैट
तो
कि जो आपके द्वारा
ओनली हमने यहाँ पे 100
सेशन में हमको दिया जाएगा,
पार्टिसिपेंट
पार्टिसिपेंट को दिया जाएगा. सो वी विल बी डू
participants को दिया जाएगा. So we will be do continue such kinds of the work. So I would like to welcome to all speakers and
I will not take more time because
thank you so much to Dr. Hemant ji for giving me this opportunity. I will not take more time because our distinguished speaker. So over to you, Dr. Hemant ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vikas. I will take permission from the president of this session, Professor Piyush Ranjan Agarwal. Sir, can we start the session?
Your voice is echoing.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So invite of the session, Professor Swami, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Maharaja Chhatrasal Bundelkhand University, Chhatarpur. Ma'am, first of all, welcome. And ma'am, please enlighten us from your views. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me. Respected Professor Piyush Ranjan Agrawal, sir, who has been my Vice Chancellor in Riva, other esteemed guests, and the dignitaries of IRSA, and students, researchers, all those who are present. I have been asked to speak on the essence of Indian knowledge system, Bharatiya Gyan Parampara, and India-centric literature. So the basic thing is that all of a sudden now, after 75 years of our freedom, we are and we are talking about Indian knowledge scene in the national education policy also. This component is very important. What is Indian knowledge system? Is it going to change education? If it is going to change education, in what ways? In what ways do we expect this to change education? What is the essence? These are important questions for the first thing. As we see the draft of the national education policy, and we are seeing implementation also, the first thing, we are not excluding anybody. When we talk about Indian knowledge system, not excluding anybody. It does not mean that we will leave out the important milestones of Western ideology. No. So Einstein continues to have a place. Other scientists, social scientists, they continue to have a place. All that we are saying and all that we are demanding today is that our own studies should be included. Now, to the surprise of many academicians, to the surprise, we have excluded Indian origins from our syllabus for the last 7 decades. Not in all cases, definitely not, but in very major portions. And this is not about politics. No, this is about pure academics. So when we go to say commerce, and we say who started bank, and who started loan, and who started barter, and how functioning of the commercial system came into the system, we always quote from the Western lineage. We forget our hundi system. We forget our bahi khata. We forget that prior to Christ, this region, the whole of this region, South Asia, had a system of commerce, had Silk Route. There was prevalent, flourishing commercial practices, but that has not been able to find a place in our syllabus. When we talk about, say, in English literature, we invariably began from Aristotle, great philosopher, no doubt about it. Aristotle talks about catharsis. Catharsis is taking out your latent emotions. That emotions should not be buried within the individual, and emotions should come out. This is basically catharsis. Is a very, very long and a very big theory. I am oversimplifying it because this is not a session on catharsis, but we forget our own ras nishpatti. We forget rasa theory altogether. We forget to mention dhvani theory altogether. We forget Bharat Muni, Natya Shastra, Anandavardhan. We forget them all. This has been going on erroneously in our education system. This is the time to correct it. So we are not excluding anybody. We are not taking away anything. We are simply asking for our place under the sun. That we too had a tradition. Don't forget it. Don't forget that this region, the whole of this region, not only, all of the East, Japan, now Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, now this region called Bharat. Of course, we are India, so we will talk about our own region in a more passionate manner. It is naturally expected of anybody to be proud of one's lineage. So we are asking for a place. We are not excluding anybody. That is one thing. We continue to be scientific. We continue to be empirical. We are committed to the highest standards of research. No compromise on that. And together forward, you see, coming times are those of synthesis. In this global village, nobody can live in isolation. We cannot deny that the Western world has contributed to knowledge in a significant manner. We cannot deny that. We do not deny that. we are coming into an age of synthesis. As we go forward into the 21st century and further, as our generations will go into the 22nd century, the time will be that of cooperation, collaboration, synthesis. So, India and her origins have to have a place in the educational curriculum. Now, what is Indian knowledge system? What do we mean by Indian knowledge system? It is so wide, it is so varied that any one definition or any one session is definitely going to be insufficient. Just to give you an idea, and of course, I speak from my own perspective. I have my intellect and my own studies are limited naturally. I bow down to the great Indian scholars who have worked before me. But to my mind, we have to remember that Indian knowledge system comprises of 4 streams. Here, we cannot separate sacred, so-called sacred texts from the mainstream knowledge system. If we exclude Vedas, if we exclude Srimad Bhagavad Gita, if we exclude Brahma Sutra, that is Prasthantrayi, the origin of Sanatan thought, the 3 parts, Triveni of Indian knowledge system, the very origin of it all, Prasthantrayi. We cannot exclude it because it is not a religious text. Vedas are not about sex.
Hello?
Vedas are not about castes. Vedas are not about segmentation. Vedas are not about categorization as such. हमारे मन मस्तिष्क पर डेस्कार्टिस का वेस्टर्न सिस्टम का इतना जबरदस्त शिकंजा बंधा हुआ है कि हम हर चीज को बांट कर देखते हैं. Vedas are not religious texts per se. Vedas are, Upanishads are pure knowledge.
Hello?
Pure knowledge. They are about nature. They are about forces of nature. They are about elements. They are about beauty. They are about duty.
दोपहर में ही बोला था चुपचाप
एक बार पलट के देखें, एक बार, मात्र एक बार पलट के देखें. वेद में कहीं भी संकीर्णता नहीं है, कहीं भी बंटवारा नहीं है, कहीं भी तेरा धर्म मेरा धर्म नहीं है, कहीं भी जाति नहीं है. तो ये जो हमारा मूल है, प्रस्थानत्रयी जिसको हम कहते हैं, और जिसको 4 आज की डेट में जो ये 4 धाराएं हैं, बौद्ध, जैन, हिंदू और सिख, ये चारों धाराएं प्रस्थानत्रयी को मानते हैं. The 4 so-called now constitutional religions of India, naturally they are constitutional religions of India now. Religion here is not equivalent to dharma. Dharma is a different word. Dharma means dharan. जैसे कि मेरा धर्म है पढ़ना, मेरा धर्म है पढ़ाई को प्रमोट करना, मेरा धर्म है पढ़ाना. ये मेरा धर्म है. This is not translatable to religion. No. So these four constitutional religions of India follow Prasthantrayi. And the origin of our thought is not sectarian. The essence of Indian thought is that there is an element sitting within all of us which makes us a family. आप सभी के अंदर एक तत्व विद्यमान है. आप सभी के अंदर कोई एक ऐसी शक्ति विद्यमान है जो मेरे अंदर भी विद्यमान है, और वो शक्ति हम सबको एक परिवार बनाती है. This is the basis of Indian knowledge system. This is how we proceed. Yajurved has 64 hymns. Maybe I have to see at least 64, more than 64 hymns on nature. That ओ अर्थ, जैसे हम धरती के ऊपर अपना वो चलाते हैं, कुल्हाड़ी चलाते हैं, तो हम पहले प्रार्थना करते हैं कि धरती माँ हम आपको कष्ट पहुंचा रहे हैं, इसके लिए हमें क्षमा करें, हम आपको कष्ट पहुंचा रहे हैं और जल्दी ही आप रिकवर कर जाएं, जल्दी ही आप पुनः संपूर्ण हो जाएं. यहां से शुरू होता है यजुर्वेद. So there is an element in all of us which connects us. And that element connects not only human beings, but all flora and fauna. It connects trees, plants, animals, aquatic life, aerial life, life on earth, all kinds of life, animate, inanimate, manifest, non-manifest. मेरा करबद्ध निवेदन है कि एक बार पढ़ के देखें इसको. इससे ज्यादा मॉडर्न, इससे ज्यादा लिबरेटिंग, इससे ज्यादा अप टू डेट, इससे ज्यादा इंक्लूसिव और कोई थॉट हो नहीं सकता, हो ही नहीं सकता. This is Indian knowledge system. This is the origin of Indian knowledge system. This is the basis of Indian knowledge system. This is how we are incorporating it in the national education policy. There are two streams. I'm just, it is so wide, it is so vast that just for understanding, just for our, it's so mind-boggling, just for our understanding, just to bring it into some kind of concept, I'm saying that there are two streams. One classical, which I have just now mentioned, the Prasthantrayi. The other is what we usually in English we refer to as folk. Folk is not again translatable to lok. हम जिसको लोक परंपराएं कहते हैं वो एग्जैक्टली फोक में ट्रांसफर नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि लोक हमारे यहाँ तीन लोक हमारे यहाँ एक अलग शब्द है जिसका अंग्रेजी में एज इट इज ट्रांसलेशन नहीं हो सकता है. Just for the sake of convenience, I am using the word folk. So the other side of knowledge is practical knowledge. knowledge which does not require any prior training, knowledge which comes very spontaneously, knowledge which accompanies and accommodates everyday experience, knowledge which encompasses day-to-day beauty of life, our festivals, our social relations, our relations within the family, ननद भौजाई, देवर भाभी, बड़े भैया छोटे भैया, माता पिता, हमारा संयुक्त परिवार, हमारा एका होना, इंसान, फिर प्रकृति, फिर त्योहार, इन सब को संजोए हुए दूसरी धारा चलती है जिसको हम कहते हैं लोक, ट्राइब्स. Our tribes, people from the forest, in and around forest, our natural indigenous groups of people, they are repository reservoirs of tremendous oral traditions. Not only verbal, but in dance, in painting, in rock paintings, in sculpture. It is so vast. एक दाना कहीं पर पकड़ लेंगे तो एक जीवन कम पड़ेगा, एक जीवन कम पड़ेगा. तो इस प्रकार से ये जो है ये दूसरी धारा चलती है. इस पूरे समंदर में हर विषय को अपने हिसाब से, हर विषय को अपने तरीके से भारतीय दृष्टि को लेकर के आना है. कुंठा का युग समाप्त होता है. The sense of inferiority complex that we nurtured so diligently over the decades, कि भैया कोई किताब अगर आती है और उसमें लिखा हुआ है कि एसपी खरे, और दूसरी एक किताब आती है जिसमें लिखा हुआ है जॉन ऑल्टमन, तो तुरंत हम किसको ज्यादा महत्व देते हैं, किसको रेफरेंस देना चाहेंगे? अपने हृदय पर हाथ रखकर पूछिए. ये कुंठा का युग, ये हीन भावना का युग अब समाप्त होता है. करना ही पड़ेगा इसको समाप्त करना ही पड़ेगा. We are not against English. We are not against any language for that matter, Spanish or English or French or our own languages, Tamil, Marathi, Gujarati, all beautiful languages. We will master all languages, but we will cross the mental barrier. We are going to cross the sense of inferiority instilled into us by the Macaulay system of schooling, Macaulay system of education for so long. So each subject will come with its own view, that the sensibility will be Indian. The basic approach will be Indian. When we will talk about agriculture, we will talk about our own crops. When we are talking about weather and seasons, climatic changes, when we are talking about disasters, disaster management, when we are talking about literature, when we are talking about our biodiversity, we will first talk about our own situation. We will understand our own situation. We will not force ourselves into an alien situation. We will understand foreign situations as well, but we will begin with our own sensibility, with our own situations. So, this is how India centric literature, India centric knowledge, India centric approaches will carry us forward. This is the idea of education now. This is the idea of Bharatiya Gyan Parampara. I wish to know from the organizers how much time do I have, because I will have, if I shift into my niche, that is literature, I can talk about books, but if it has to be general, it has to be like this. Please let me know.
एक्चुअली मैडम हम लोग आपका समय और आपकी सीमा कैसे निर्धारित कर सकते हैं, बट हम लोगों को 1 घंटे 40 मिनट में पूरा सेशन खत्म करना है और 4 गेस्ट है हमारे पास, तो कोई समय
तो
लिमिटेशन
ठीक
नहीं
है,
है, आप लोग
क्योंकि
जैसे
अगर
भी
मैं
सुचित।
अपने विषय पर जाऊंगी तो मैं इंडिया सेंट्रिक लिटरेचर पर थोड़ा बहुत जितना मुझे पता है, जो किताबें आ रही हैं, बहुत अच्छा काम हो रहा है। अमीश त्रिपाठी, विवेक देब्रॉय, देवी, ये जो हैं आपके दिवा करुणी, बड़े बड़े नाम हैं। अमीश त्रिपाठी जी है,
जी
अच्छा लिख रहे हैं,
जी
उस पर मैं बात कर सकती हूँ, पर समय लगेगा। तो मैं यहाँ पर अपनी वाणी को यहाँ पर अभी विराम देती हूँ।
जी।
थैंक यू।
हेमंत भैया।
Thank you so much, ma'am. Really, yes, yeah, yes, yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. Your views, your ideas, really incredible. Yes, yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite Professor Sujit Bhattacharya, sir, from Journal of Scientometric in Corpus and Web of Science. Welcome, sir.
एंड तिवारी मैम, हम लोग सोच रहे हैं एक इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम में एक 5 डेज का वर्कशॉप करने का, तो यदि आपका मार्गदर्शन और आशीर्वाद रहेगा तो श्योर हम एक इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम में ही एक 5 डेज
बहुत
का
ही,
वर्कशॉप।
बहुत जरूरी है, बहुत जरूरी है। अर्धनारीश्वर की जो कल्पना है, सारी
Yes, ma'am.
चीजें हैं, बहुत बहुत आप समझिए कि ये बहुत जरूरी है।
और
और ये
मैम,
जो राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति है, ये अति अति आवश्यक है।
जी मैम, हमारे यहाँ एक एग्जीक्यूटिव कमेटी मेंबर है साक्षी।
बस मैम आपका मार्गदर्शन, आपका आशीर्वाद चाहिए।
जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, तो उनका
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
स्पेशलाइजेशन ही है इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम में, तो हम लोग जरूर इस पर
बिल्कुल
ट्रिब्यूट करेंगे और मैम आपका
बिल्कुल
भी
करेंगे,
हम लोग।
बिल्कुल करेंगे। बहुत बहुत अच्छा सोच रहे हैं आप, जरूर करेंगे।
जी मैम, प्रणाम मैम, प्रणाम।
प्रणाम प्रणाम।
धन्यवाद मैम।
ओवर टू यू सुजीत सर।
Now, yes, Mr. Sujit Bhattacharya, sir. Welcome, sir.
सुजीत सर, सुजीत भट्टाचार्य सर, सर इज हेयर बट आई थिंक कि कुछ कारणों से वो सुन नहीं पा रहे हैं। सुजीत सर, हेलो प्रोफेसर सुजीत सर।
I think because some kind of technical error there. So, with the permission of Piyush Ranjan Agarwal, sir, can we call
Only 1 minute, otherwise
next?
we will, otherwise we call to Professor Sirin ma'am. Only 1 minute. I'm calling to him.
Vivek Kumar. Okay, Srin ma'am.
सर,
Okay.
हाँ सर, आप सर, हम आपका सेशन है सर, आप सर बोल नहीं रहे हैं। हेलो, हाँ सुजीत सर, आपका है सर टाइम अब, तो सर आप बोल, मतलब हम लोग इनवाइट कर रहे हैं जी।
ठीक है, ठीक है, ओके ओके।
Welcome, sir. Sir, please enlighten us and from your views, your ideas. Yes, Professor Sujit Bhattacharya, sir, welcome you. And please, sir, enlighten us from your views, your ideas. Over to you, sir.
I hope you are able to hear me. The sound was bit less. You can hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your voice is clear coming, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
भट्टाचार्य थोड़ा वॉइस तेज हो जाए आपकी थोड़ी सी
अब
आवाज
सुनाई दे रहा है
आपकी
आपको
आवाज
क्या?
बिल्कुल नहीं आ रही
Now you are hearing me? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your voice is coming, sir.
Okay. Thank you. There's always this challenge when you are in an online. You never know whether. So let me first thank the organizer and thank Professor Vikas Kumar, organizers of the Indian Research Scholars Association, and everyone for organizing this wonderful workshop which I see, which is being held here. And this is something which is quite dear to my heart itself. When first Professor Vikas Kumar told me about this important 7-day initiative that they are taking from this association about talking about the different facets of writing skill research, I feel that this is something which every editor or every researcher would be something which has driven that researcher and the editor to see that these type of workshops should be held continuously. And I was so glad that this type of organization, this type of workshop has been thought of. Let me tell you at the outset that I am not from an economics research. I am from background of physics and innovation systems, and then I had dwelled into this what you call the interdisciplinary areas of innovation systems, intellectual property and all. And I work as a chief scientist as well as an editor in chief of the Journal of Scientometric Research. So what it does is that it gives me some sort of a handle to do large number of cross-disciplinary interactions with different researchers across different fields. And that has actually prompted me also to be a professor in JNU in Center for Science Policy Studies during 3 years. And then I came back again and joined NISPER. This again is a merger of an organization from policy research to policy research and communication research. So what I see is that this the whole workshop is centered very nicely and talking about what I see is about the different aspects of research, right from the looking into the how the very questions that have been raised are also very interesting of the different aspects of the questions that have been raised. And this, I'm not sure whether we have one answer to these type of questions, that how can you write a good paper, how can you write a good uh, review article, what are the strategies which you can plan. But you see that over the years we have developed a sort of a pedagogy, and this pedagogy gives us some insights of what a good research paper should contain, what a good researcher, how the editors looks into good research paper, what are the elements of a research paper which we should be very very clear and which should be fundamental to every researcher, every one who is trying to frame a paper, trying to think of a particular problem. So you see, the first thing which it starts is that within your domain, we have to look at a particular problem domain that bothers us. The problem domain should be very much connected to the contemporary challenges, which I always would tell my students when I teach, when I tell myself also when I write something on an issue. And then that is what I also expect from my readers and the writers who are writing for my journal. So what has been stressed, I had a chance to look into some of the deliberations of your this workshop session, and I was saying that the people have rightly pointed out that the the problem, you should be driven by a particular understanding of the journal also where you are publishing, understanding of the issues that the journal is trying to raise, and you try to frame your work within that format. And that is not respected only for the journal, it is also for the type of research which you are doing. So my research has to be aligned to the problem at hand. Then only people will look at it. See, this is an issue which is not only pertaining to our country, it is an issue which pertains to everywhere. We just had a very interesting South-South conference, which was part of the UN conference, and I had coordinated this workshop, this one day workshop. And what we are trying to see is that what are the challenges between the South countries, and how the different countries are looking at these challenges, and what are the novel models, novel approaches which are there. And what we are finding that there is a large amount of alignment and misalignment in research across the South countries. They are doing research in areas which are much more focused to North economies, but not the one issue is the amount of funding, but the other issue is that how you are directing your research. So we found that this is one of the very important problem of not directing your research to the problem at hand. Like when we looked at the health research, we found that large number of papers which are coming are not aligning with the health research issues which are pertaining to our South countries. But you see that the burden of research, the 90% burden of research for the South countries are handled by only 10% of the paper, and the 90% of the research paper across the world are addressing the problems of 10% of research in the north, or the burden of disease which are pertaining primarily to the north countries, north economies. So you see that herein our research does not align itself with the policy, does not align itself with the what you call with the national demands. So this possibly, I was seeing the earlier speaker was also referring to the education policy and all that. So this is very important, that why our research, how we write, how we address our research should be able to address those our problems. And the problems, India to a large extent epitomizes the challenges of the South countries. So why we are not able to address this type of problem? Because I see that many young researchers are attached to this workshop. They are looking for maybe some sort of a motivation from us. So what my first motivating point which I would like to tell my young research scholars who are addressing that, look at the contemporary challenges and problem. Once you can understand these contemporary challenges and problem, then you see your own capability which you are there in. Say, I am not a person from a pure economic research, neither I am person from a purely from a social science research, but my cross-disciplinary background helps me to understand technology much better than many who are from this purely centered within a social science research. So what I try to do is that over the years, last 20, 30 years, I have learned the tools and techniques of various types of qualitative and quantitative research studies. I am in different type of networks. In the top economics network, I am in top social science network and all that. So that gives me a handle to understand a certain type of problem. So within that problem understanding, I look at a certain type of a problem. Say I'm looking at a problem of understanding what this fourth industrial revolution will mean for us, for countries like us, South countries like us, country like India. So I'm looking at the different aspects of this type of problem. So once I have the problem in hand, I try to look at a particular type of a conceptual framework which is rooted within the how you define the framework and what will be the strategy for my approach to see that how we define the methodology and the methods, so that I can the framework I can really the research question objectives and the theoretical and the conceptual framework which is there, that should be rooted within my methods which I am trying to plan. My method should not be, say, it can be a mixed mode method, it can be only purely qualitative research, it can be only quantitative research, but that has to be rooted within how best I am able to address the problem which I have. Now once I do that, I should not, nowadays it's very easy to have large number of quantitative tables, figures and all. So, and I see in my journal also, Journal of Scientometric Research, the papers do not talk of what is the implications. They will be talking of large number of figures, tables, and trying to give me great types of what you call the networks and all that which they have created. So what I try to look as an editor and ask my reviewers to look at that how they have done the along with the other aspect, what is the implications of the study which is coming out. And sadly what I see is that the researchers who are writing to my journals, and the other, I'm connected as a reviewer to many other journals, and I see that they have, as a reviewer, whenever it comes to me, even when a fresh journal from a fresh good journal it comes to me as a review, I try to look at what are the type, familiarize myself with that journal. I try to familiarize myself with the type of issues that the journal is addressing. But I find sadly that the authors are largely disconnecting themselves from the for the demands the journal is raising, the type of problems the journal is raising. And then you see this rejection starts happening. And my journal also, hardly I can select, every time there are so many papers are coming, but I have to reject so many papers. And primarily Then the next issue also comes is that even in the paper, we give the reviews to that paper, the 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 researchers do it such a non-seriousness, which I see in many of the researchers, not addressing the review comments, and then you get this, unfortunately, that the papers get rejected. So what my submission to the young researchers here who are connecting, that try to try to do your research not only thinking of writing large number of papers, writing large number of just uh, putting the methodology and all that. So try to put the research in such a way that you feel you own that research and you feel very proud of that research, and then you try to place that research in a research journal where you are confident, you are familiarized with that journal, and you are confident that this journal is a very, very potential journal, not only driven by an impact factor, but driven by that journal is a very, that particular journal. Maybe that impact factor of the journal is less, or it can be more, but more my choice is that the journal will be able to really disseminate my research. And it may happen that in spite of everything, your paper gets rejected. But that rejection itself should motivate you to do further research, further reach out, and try to reach out not only as research papers in a journal, but try to reach out into a different forums. I will always tell my students that try to write a policy paper, try to write a bulletin, try to look at these new types of medias and communication which is possible. Try to write a blog, try to write a policy paper, try to write a digest paper. So, and try to strategize your work. Try to see that how well your work gets reflected within the research community at large. And then only you see that you will feel proud that, see, it is not only the hundreds of papers which I have written or the number of books which I have written, but I am able to reach out to the community who are recognizing my work at over the years. And I also get surprised now after so many years. Suddenly, one research which I had done and I have forgotten. Suddenly, I find that that research someone finds it so very interesting, and then he says that part of research can we collaborate on that and look into it. So that is the thing which actually should excite you, that a particular type of particular paper or a particular work, which maybe at that time may not be seen by a few set of people, and then suddenly it becomes alive after many years, and then you again have a great opportunity to reach out to a large number of people again and get interesting collaborations which start happening. And finally, before ending, I must tell my young researchers that try to collaborate with different type of people. Networking is the new paradigm of success. Try to network across. So whenever it comes across to me also, even at this, when I look at, I try to network across the different types of scholars. Maybe some scholars will be reluctant to network, and then they realize that yes, there is certain type of a newness that can come in. So as a young researchers, you have much more handle to network with large number of people. Try to attend this type of a conference which is there. Try to more and so this world is a connected world, and you need to connect to the different people. And so possibly these were the quick thoughts which has come to my mind. I had just come back in a very late night from Vietnam, and so there was not really much. And coming to the office, there were so many other things to do. Even when I was just trying to link you up with you. There was something or the other coming today. So possibly, I hope I am coherent enough for all of you to understand the points which I have tried to raise today. And I hope, Professor Vikas, your wonderful Indian Research Scholars Association will motivate students and young researchers across the country with these types of important workshops. And I also see that so many good scholars, very important people across the country have joined your network.